Alright, let's do a quick update of how these air layers are doing. So we took a bunch of air layers last year at my mother-in-law's house, if you remember. The rhododendrons, man, I'm telling you, this variety, Senator Jackson, is just eluding me. I don't think that these are going to do any good. You can see the leaves shriveling up. Some of them had roots on them. It's just a tough variety. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. This is the Campanulatum. Its leaves are still looking somewhat okay. They had roots on them. We'll see. I just had gotten a question by a viewer. What's the best time to take these or to do these air layers? And I had awesome success with the fruit trees and the flowering cherry. But with these rhododendrons, and that was taking them in spring, but the rhododendrons not so much. So I'm thinking I might try this again this year in the fall with rhododendrons with the new current year's growth, and just let the layers go through the winter. We'll see how that works out. But in the meantime, look at this. These were those Bartlett pears that I got at my mother-in-law's, and I air layered those, and they're taking off really nice, and they've got good solid roots. I mean, it's lifting the whole pot there. They're growing on really nice, and that new green growth is coming out real healthy. Now, they'll be growing on their own root system, so it's not going to be a dwarf rootstock. And I don't know how disease resistant or cold hardy the Bartlett Pear's rootstock is, the original rootstock, but we'll find out. But it's nice to have this variety on the property, because if I wanted to buy rootstock at a later time, I could always use this one to graft onto another rootstock. And it's the same thing I did with this guy. This is Honeycrisp, and if you saw that air layer video, we did some Honeycrisp apple, and they're starting to take off and do good. They've got a little new shoot coming up right here on this one, if you can see that. And then these little apple blossoms, I don't necessarily want them, but I don't want to take them off yet because I'm trying to see if I can find some new leaf growth in there, but they're doing okay. And now the Honeycrisp root system may not be that great, but I've got the plant here on the property, and like I said, if I wanted to buy rootstock later on, I could always end up you know, just grafting this onto a better rootstock. So the air layers for the fruit trees were a complete success. And then we air layered our red leaf Japanese maple. It's a Bloodgood maple, and it's got some new leaf growth coming out on it. It's doing pretty good, I believe. Real strong, got some roots down in there. I don't want to pull it too hard because it's not completely taken off, but it did have some good roots, so we'll see what happens. But these Bartlett pears, man, they really took off and are just doing fantastic. I'm real happy with that. Now, this was that flowering cherry that we did as an air layer, and it's doing really well. It's flowering already, and you can see the new leaf growth coming out. I'm not so concerned about the flowers right now. I just want to see good, new, healthy leaf growth coming off of it, and we'll start training this tree soon. It had a nice root ball when I planted it in the pot, and it's taken off, doing well. The roots are real healthy down there, so I think we're going to have a nice flowering cherry out of the group too. Alright guys, the final shot of that Nancy Evans rhododendron. Look at that, full bloom. It was really hot here yesterday, and everything on the property just started opening up. And now this thing is just pretty much completely opened up here, and it is just a beautiful yellow color. So anybody wanting yellow on their landscape, I'll show you a link to that last video, the Nancy Evans that I was taking when this was just starting to open up. We'll put that up in the corner here. But here it is, fully opened up, and that is just a gorgeous yellow.